Hello, my name is Georgia. I'm here in Ibiza by my magical cactus tree, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sancti Retreats, creating experiences that allow you to truly thrive in life and in business. Now, I wanted to talk today a little bit about the notion of success. It's come up a lot recently, and I think it's really important that we define what success really means to each individual. I actually think this is something that can be quite different for different people. You know, there's this narrative that we grow up with in certain areas of the world where success is almost like given to us as a set of goals to go for. So, for example, go to school, get good grades, get into university, get a good job out of university, buy a flat, buy a house, get a dog, have a partner, get married, keep working, maybe go on a holiday once a year, and then retire. And I think a lot of people are getting really sick of this notion of so-called success that we've essentially been spoon-fed and that we haven't actually been able to create individually, because ultimately it's something that's so unique to us. I think everyone here is here for a reason, and we have unique gifts and things to experience that just aren't all the same. And this is like almost like a blanket that's been thrown over a one-size-fits-all that doesn't actually fit. So we're trying to put on this shoe that doesn't fit everyone. So that's why a lot of the time I've done things that have so-called like gone against the grain, like I did the corporate role, I played my part in that, and then just before the pandemic I let it go. I quit my corporate job to start doing this. And at the time, honestly, I didn't really know where this would lead. I didn't have necessarily a clear plan, but I knew I wanted to commit to this discovery process of finding out what it was that I wanted ultimately. And it's been, the most incredible journey. But when it comes to the notion of success, I think sometimes it's very easy to get lost in this. And this is something that I have also fallen into my own trap myself as well. And that's especially when you're very, ambitious. I always describe myself as ambitious, like I have big goals, big ambitions and dreams for myself, for my business, for everyone who works for me. And that's something that I think will always be with me. It's one of my core values, and it's what I'm about. I'm here to create big things in this life. However, I think it's so important to continue to reevaluate success and what that means to you. And it can be really easy, especially if you're someone who runs a business, has a side hustle, or something that you're working on in that capacity, is it can be really easy to actually lose sight of what's really important to you. So there's so many things. There's playbooks to business now. There's this podcast you can listen to, there's books you can read that really lay out how to really create a successful business in this modern world. And these books are so exciting. I absolutely love reading them. But then sometimes I can get caught up in the metrics and forget actually about why I'm here and why I'm doing all of this. And ultimately, I am here because I found my mission, and I want to help other people to find and live by their mission too. Even if you've set out with one mission and then it changes, if you're curious and you're not sure what that might be, these are the sorts of things that I'm really interested in and I know I'm really good at. But sometimes I can get caught up in these metrics of success that actually don't work for me. So for example, how many clients I have, how many people are coming up to a retreat, all of these things are important. But if I actually forget that the reason why I'm doing this is to help people to find, discover, rediscover their mission and live by that, then there's no point in what I'm doing. I'm not going to feel good. I'm not going to be fulfilled. And I think that's the worst thing, is when we create this version of success that actually isn't true to us. What is success without fulfillment? If you create all the money in the world, but your relationships are shit, and your life is actually going in a different direction to what you wanted, then it's not even success at all. We look at these billionaires and these millionaires as like prime examples of success, but how happy are they? Do we even listen when they say that sometimes actually no, those moments where they've hit this amazing goal or reached an amazing amount of money or sold their business for millions, they were actually the least happy in their lives? Like, do we actually listen to that? No, like, we wait until we get there and we're like, oh God, I'm unhappy, And this is one thing that I'm so set and hell-bent on proving, is that ultimately I believe you can be really ambitious and not sacrifice your life along the way. I don't think you have to make those ridiculous sacrifices that ultimately devalue your own values and your own life. I think you can have it all. You can make certain sacrifices, but not too many. I think that's really important to be really clear on. So ultimately, I think it's so important that anytime we think about this notion of success, we remember not to take this life so seriously. Like, this life doesn't have to be spent working ourselves into the ground. It's also here so that we can enjoy the moment and enjoy the now, because ultimately now is the only time we ever have. The past is in the past and the future is unknown. So why not enjoy this present moment that we have every single day, this process of creation? I'm all about ambitious ideas, but if you're not enjoying the process of creation every single day, the process of what you're doing every single day in your work, in your life, in your business, then you really need to ask yourself why you're taking it so seriously. Because ultimately there's no awards of life, there's no hierarchy. When we're dead, like, it doesn't even matter. So for me, that makes me really happy, because I can be like, oh, you know what, I can just enjoy this process and give myself a bit of a break, instead of putting so much pressure on myself to be a certain thing or to create this huge legacy, which is great, but not worth my mental health. It's not worth your mental health either. So yeah, I think this is just a little bit of a nudge to say, look at what success means to you. Ask yourself that. What is success to you? And if you think, oh yeah, success is selling my business for millions, why? What's driving that? There's always something that's driving that. Ultimately, I think there's so much talk about this end goal, like, oh, in the end, I want this house, this car, like the perfect model wife or husband, all these things, this big brand, this big company, but why? What's driving that? Like, is that really what you want? Or is that what you think that you should want? They're different things. And I think if we get so caught up in this end goal doesn't exist. The end is that we die. That's it. Nothing else happens. In the end, we die. And then, so what really matters? The in-between part, the journey, that matters. So why are we setting ourselves these ridiculous goals and working our lives away, burning ourselves out, sacrificing the things that mean the most to us for this end goal, which is in fact, we're going to be dead? And it's really interesting, like, this notion of time as well, because ultimately time is a made-up construct. It's not real. Like, the only time we actually have that is real is the now, is the present. If you haven't already, I'd recommend reading a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. It's really cool. brings you into check about like life and what you're spending your time on and how we think about things and how we put so much importance on things that probably don't need our attention and don't need that importance to go to, and that makes us feel a lot better. So yeah, if you're watching this, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this gives you a bit of a kick to reevaluate what success means to you, and if you've got any really cool ideas, anything you'd like to add, disagree with, agree with, whatever that might be about the notion of success and life and how we spend our time, then let me know. I always love to hear your thoughts and feelings. If you do want to stay in touch, I will also drop a link below to my newsletter. I host online workshops quite regularly, as well as retreats here in Ibiza, so let's stay in touch.